Hey everybody, Psycher here, and a few days ago I went and saw Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And I thought that it'd be a pretty good idea to sit down and give my thoughts on it. In a nutshell, I was really disappointed by it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some things in it that I just loved. Like, let's see. Batman was... Ben Affleck as Batman was great. He was probably the best part. I know there was a lot of controversy around him being cast as Batman, but we had nothing to worry about. Also, Alfred was also really good. Jeremy Irons is a great actor, and this movie just showed that. And Superman, Henry Cavill's okay as Superman. He's not the best. He's not Christopher Reeve, but he's passable. If he's gonna be Superman again, then I wouldn't be too upset. But one thing I didn't like about the casting is probably one that a lot of people had a lot of problems with anyway, was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. He did not feel like Lex Luthor at all. It's weird because Jesse Eisenberg is a great actor. If you haven't seen The Social Network, check that out. But there's something about him. He felt more like the Riddler than Lex Luthor. I don't know what it was. Wonder Woman was really, really cool. She was probably my favorite thing about the movie. I know a lot of people say Batman was the best part, but Wonder Woman was my favorite part of the movie. She was great. And then the actual fight between Batman and Superman, it was okay. Some of it was kind of strange. It didn't last very long, but what else? But what can you do about that? One thing I was skeptical about from the second trailer on was Doomsday. Doomsday felt really shoehorned into this movie. Did he need to be in it? I don't think so. I mean, to get the Justice League together, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I've read the comic where he showed one of his most important comics, and it was great. I liked it. I really, really liked it, but this just felt really out of place. Some of the dialogue was alright. Some of it felt a bit clunky, but other times I was like, that's actually really smart. That's a good line. The editing in this movie felt really, really weird. Some things felt incomplete. Some other things left something to be desired. The pacing felt really, really off. I mean you in this movie you get a few scenes where you could have said, okay, this scene could end right here and we'd be fine. We don't need to know anything else. There was one or two times I thought that. So the pacing just fell off. And one of the things I hate most about movies nowadays, not just this movie, but movies in general nowadays, are jump scares. There was a jump scare in this movie about 20 minutes in. And the reason I hate jump scares is it just feels like the cheapest way of scaring somebody. And I'm not saying that because they get me every time. I'm just saying it just feels really lazy and cheap. And another thing that kind of made me say, okay, why did they need to do that? Was they used Batman's origin story again. They showed his parents dying. They showed his transformation into Batman. How he had that fear of bats. They showed all that again. It was the first 5 minutes of the movie. Okay, and then this was something that really made people mad. Batman uses guns, and he also kills people in this movie. It just goes against all his moral code. Like, that's Batman's thing. He just doesn't kill. I know it's also Daredevil's thing, but what can you do about that? But there's something about seeing Batman, like, just annihilate some people. Like, there are some people in this movie that he kills, like, that he's fighting, and you're like, yeah, he couldn't have survived that. And it just kind of made me upset about it. Some of the special effects in this movie just didn't look good at all. Some of it looked fine. Doomsday looked okay. There was one scene during the actual fight where Batman has Superman, like, tied up with his grappling hook, and then just swings him around. It just didn't look very good. At least to me. Now, you might have heard, like, up in the events leading to the release of this movie, that the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg all show up in this movie. They have kind of like a 20-second cameo each, and their cameo is actually pretty cool. The Flash's was probably my favorite. The most memorable one, everyone else's favorite one is Cyborg's, and Cyborg's is pretty cool too. But Aquaman's was just kind of strange. It just showed him. He just looks into the camera for a few seconds and then just stabs it. And this movie is 2.5 hours long. It feels way longer than that. I was watching this movie and I thought, how long is this? Has it been 2.5 hours yet? Because it feels like it's been 3. A positive thing from Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, which are just masterpieces. One of the things that was wrong with them was that the fight scenes just didn't feel like fighting. In this one, Batman actually beats the crap out of some people. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. I was glad to see that he actually does some butt kicking in this one. I was glad to see that he actually fought in this one. And then the ending was it just felt, I understand why they did it, because it's an important ending to an important comic, but if that comic had been its own movie, it would have been so good. I would have loved that movie. I guess my biggest problem with this movie was that it felt less like a Batman vs. Superman movie, and it felt more like a Justice League prequel. And I love the Justice League. I can't wait for Justice League Part 1, but did we really need Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg and all those guys and all of them in this movie? Probably not. It was cool to see them, but we probably don't need them. So, overall, yeah, I was pretty disappointed by what I saw. So, in the end, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely abysmal and 10 being masterpiece, I would give this movie 6.8 out of 10. It wasn't bad. There's some parts of it that I liked, but it wasn't very good either. And that is the end of my first movie review. Hope you liked it. I know I'm probably gonna get destroyed in the comments, but that's just my opinion. I was just disappointed by this. If you love this movie, awesome. Love it. It just wasn't for me. So, if you want to see me do another movie review, let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do.